I have 1 week to get ready for a cruise to Bermuda. Let's get cruising. Hey everybody, I'm Chris Dickman, president of CruiseReport.com, and we just got back into the country a few days ago, not even a week ago tomorrow, from Greece, where we spent 10 days aboard Silver Sea's beautiful Silver Moon, had a great time, loved the ship, and we just put out a video on the ship tour, and we're putting out a couple new videos this week on the review of that ship. But just a few days ago, maybe 3 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, I get an email from Viking with an invitation to join their Viking Orion in Bermuda. They have a new Bermuda Escapes cruise that they're working on, or they're putting together. And they offered me 5 different dates where I could do this media sailing, but none of the dates would fit with our other cruise that we have in September. We have a cruise coming up to Alaska on Uncruise, September 10th, and the way the dates all worked out, really the only opportunity, and I'm not going to miss an opportunity to go on Viking, the only opportunity we had was for the 20th of August, which is just in a few days. So if you're not familiar with the cruise protocols or the health protocols for Bermuda, they make Greece look like a cakewalk. I mean, I have to have a PCR test, not an antigen test. It has to be a PCR test. And it has to be a very specific kind. In fact, let me just read you what has to happen for this to occur. But first I want to say, super excited to be back on Viking. It's been a couple of years. It's one of our favorite cruise lines. Unfortunately, due to some other circumstances, Ricky's not going to be able to join me on this cruise. I have to go by myself, which is a little different. I've only done that a couple of times in the past, but I will muddle through. It's a 1-week cruise, and I am super excited to be there. But let me and I will say that Viking has sent me a ton of information, and they have a wonderful website that really lays everything out. They have this My Viking Journey website that it really is excellent the way it's designed. But they send you all this information through email and other methods. But just so you can see, they take the sailing date, basically. They know I'm departing, or embarking, I should say, on the 20th. And so all of these other dates are based on that. And so it basically tells you what you have to do on how many days prior to the sailing. So I'll just read this. Of course, ensure your passport is valid for at least 6 months. That's obvious. 14 days prior to sailing, receive your final COVID-19 vaccine. Well, I got mine months ago, so I'm okay with that. 10 days prior to sailing, you have to complete they called Verify vaccine certification. Now, this is an app that you download to your smartphone. I guess you can't board the ship without this, so I assume you have to have a smartphone or an iPad or something. But this app, you upload your vaccine certificate to this app, and it verifies the information. And then I guess, when you board, you show this to somebody on the ship or at the port or Bermuda. I'm not sure yet. And it shows that your certification is valid. Okay, that's that. We did something similar to that when we went to Greece, but nobody ever looked at it. They never actually checked it. So it'll be interesting to see if they actually check this. 7 to 5 days before departure, complete and submit the Viking Digital Health Survey to confirm that you've not been exposed to COVID-19. You'll receive an email with a link to the survey. And I did that online, very easy, very quick. So that's done. 4 days prior to departure, I'm not quite there yet. That will be Monday. Pre-departure PCR test. To ensure you have results in time to complete your travel authorization, you need to be tested 4 days prior to departure. See schedule below for the recommended test date appropriate for your sailing date. You must have a COVID-19 PCR test. Oh, I can't say this word. Nasopharyngeal nasal swab polymerase chain reaction test. I can't pronounce this. I'm from Texas. Either RT or rapid PCR. The COVID-19 PCR test cannot be an antigen or antibody test. So they're very specific on what kind of test you have to have. Now, once you've got your results from the PCR test, you can then go to a website for the Bermuda travel authorization. Upon receipt of your negative COVID-19 test results, fill out the Bermuda travel authorization form online, and they give you the link. Travelers failing to complete a travel authorization form before traveling to Bermuda will be charged $1,000 upon arrival for the completion of a travel authorization. I will be filling that out before I go, trust me. I think you still have to pay $75 even if you do it before you go. So I think there's a $75 fee associated with this authorization form. Okay, to complete that form, you have to have confirmed flight information. You need to upload digital image of your COVID vaccine, your test results. I mean, they're very, very detailed in what you have to do to travel to Bermuda. Okay, and then it goes on about assembling your documents. Okay, now, it gets even better. Embarkation procedures in Bermuda. Upon arrival, you'll be required to undertake a COVID-19 PCR test, a nasal swab administered by the government of Bermuda. So even though you're tested 4 days before you go and you've been vaccinated, you're still tested again once you arrive in the country. I don't know if that's done at the airport or at the port. I'm not sure. This test gets even better. This test will be in addition to the embarkation test required by Viking. So after you've taken the PCR test from Bermuda, you then get on board the ship and they test you on board the ship. And I think that's a saliva test. I think they use like a little test tube and you put some saliva in that, give it to them, and they do a rapid test. Okay, you will also need to undergo the following COVID-19 screening prior to your cruise. A temperature check has to be a reading of less than 38 degrees centigrade or 100.4. Questions in relation to your general health, COVID-19 symptoms, or possible exposure. Accept and agree to using contact tracing technology during your cruise. I'm not sure what that would be. I don't know if Viking has a medallion. I think they do. I think they actually have something that you can wear around your neck on a lanyard. They might have something like that. Complete any required check-in procedures. And then during your cruise, you'll be tested periodically on board the ship as required by Viking and in coordination with the government of Bermuda. And then prior to disembarking the ship, you'll be required to undertake a final COVID-19 test to satisfy the requirement for pre-flight testing before arrival into the USA. Okay, very interesting. And then it goes on and talks about travel insurance, which I have purchased. And then it gives you a really nice, like a table of things that you need to have done by a certain time. Now, again, this is our business. I mean, we are travel journalists, we're cruise journalists, and so it's painful and a hassle to have to do these things. And I do it because it's my business. Of course, I enjoy cruising. Don't get me wrong. We love to cruise. But I wonder how many people really want to go through this to cruise. So it's going to be interesting to see. I'm sure there are the diehards, the faithful out there that will do this. There certainly were on Silver Sea, but I wonder how many people are sitting back and waiting for this to all go away. And I don't know if it's going to go away. I want to believe it's going to go away, but when we were at the Athens airport, and then later, this is just last week, and then later in the Atlanta airport, I was having these thoughts go through my head while we were going through security. And as we're going through security, I'm seeing women, as they're going through security, have to take off their flip-flops. They're this thick, or even flat sandals. Put them in a basket, send them through an X-ray machine. And I'm thinking that if one guy 20 years ago tried to unsuccessfully ignite a shoe bomb on an airplane, and 20 years later, we're still having to take our flip-flops and sandals off to travel on an airplane. If that has stuck around for 20 years, my guess is this COVID stuff is not going to be going away anytime soon, if ever. I don't know if the masks are going away. I don't know if the vaccines are going away. Certainly, COVID's not going to go away. It's probably here for the rest of our lives. We just don't know yet. But odds are pretty good it is. But as far as all of these uncomfortable procedures to travel, it's possible that this is the new normal. And it's possible that people from now on that want to travel, they're just going to have to go through these things. I don't know how many shoe bombs the TSA has thwarted in the last 20 years. I'm going to just take an educated guess that it's probably 0. But they still make you take your shoes off when you go through security. They still will only allow to take 3 ounces, I think it's 3 ounces or 3.5 ounces of fluids in your carry-on bag. Not 3.5, not 3.9 ounces, not 4.2 ounces, because there's some magic number there that somebody in some bureaucracy decided that if you have more than that, it's dangerous. I don't even know how many terrorist attacks have been thwarted by the TSA, period. Forget shoe bombs. I don't know that it's done anything, but we still have to do it when we go to the airport. So my point is, these COVID measures could be around from now on. I hope not. What are your thoughts on this? Put it in the comments down below. Do you think this is going to end at some point? Or do you think it's a typical government bureaucracy jobs program that's going to go on forever? I'm just curious, your thoughts. Anyway, thanks for joining me today. I am, again, very excited to get back on Viking. Looking forward to it. Keep checking out our channel. Make sure to click the subscribe button. Hit the like button if you like this video. If you don't like the video, hit the don't like button. But anyway, thanks for joining me today, and smooth sailing.